Samantha from GSMR Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you a fun little translucent cane. Now, to start off with, I'm going to create a colour to tint the translucent clay with, and this is Primo Translucent, Primo Peacock Pearl, and Primo Ultramarine. They've all been run out on the same setting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece of the Peacock Pearl and then 2 pieces of the Ultramarine Blue. I'm going to mix that up together and I'm going to use that to tint the translucent, because I usually use alcohol inks to tint my translucent, but I do want to show that you can use normal clay colours if you want. You can alternate if you want. Just know if you're using clay to tint your translucent, you want to be using as small amounts as possible, because you want to maintain that translucency. Whereas with the alcohol inks, a lot of the time you can get away with a lot of pigmentation because they're generally quite clear to start off with. But anyway, mix that up. That shouldn't take too long. I'm not even going to worry about using the pasta machine. And it just gives me a slightly metallic, slightly greener ultramarine blue. Let me bring that over as comparison. Okay, and then I've got translucent over here, and let's see. So I'd say this is about 30 little cutted, about at least 30 parts to 1 part of this, if not larger. Let me actually, I generally don't worry about it being exact in this case, so let me just fold that up. Okay, and we'll see how much that is. Okay, so I did a little bit of checking, and it's actually more about 90 parts translucent to 1 part of the colour. So you can see it's really a large amount of translucent compared to the colour. I'm going to mix that all up together until I get an even colour, and that's what we'll be working with. And here is the colour. Now, it's not as strong as I would like it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same amount of colour that we had, and I'm going to add another 2 parts. So ultimately this is going to be 90 parts translucent, 3 parts Peacock Pearl, 6 parts Ultramarine Blue. And I'm going to mix that up. And this is how I'd recommend going about tinting your translucent with clay. Just add small amounts at a time and add more as you need. That way you'll end up with the colour that you want and something that's not over tinted. Okay, and here's how it looks. Quite nice. You could continue going, but I am going to keep it with that colour. Then to add a little extra colour, just a really nice strong colour, I'm going to add this really nice blue mica powder. Now, this was rolled out on the thickest setting, which is about 1.5 mm thick, just about, and I've rolled it into a long rectangle because I'm going to roll it up into a jelly roll. And you want to just kind of have that prepared before adding the mica powder. And I'm going to add the powder on one side. Now on the other side I'm going to add copper metal leaf. Just continue brushing that over the whole surface. Okay, and there we go. Pick that up, and there you can see what a nice colour that is. Flip that over, and on this side I'm going to just bring over some copper metal leaf. Just bear with me for one moment while I get that. There we go. And this is the colour. And I'm just going to take that, I'm going to lay that over the surface. It does not need to be perfect. It's quite close. Okay, then I'll take the offcuts there, just kind of cut that and add that to the rest of the piece until I've got this all covered in metal leaf, and it does not need to be a perfect cover, just for the most part I want it covered. There we go. Okay, then on the mica powder side, because this side is basically non-stick at the moment, I am going to apply a layer of white acrylic paint, and that's the brand that I recommend using. It's the one that I pretty much always use. Really good, and doesn't get sticky on the clay, because some acrylic paint brands do. I do find that it gets sticky after a bit. This one I have had pretty much no problems with, specifically when working with Polymer. Okay, and I'm just going to take that and I'm going to brush that over the surface, and when we roll this up you'll still be able to see the mica powder through the translucent clay, so don't worry, it's not getting covered up. I'm just going to apply a nice steady paint layer. I'm going to allow that to dry, and I'm going to roll this up into a jelly roll cane and then slice it. Okay, and once it's dry, just take that, and I would actually advise on either the paint side or the metallic leaf side, I would advise taking some translucent polymer clay, translucent liquid polymer clay. This is what I'm using. You can use the Kato version, or you can use the Sculpey version. Either way, doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that it is translucent clay, and just add a little bit, and this is going to help everything stick together. And just spread that out. Does not need to be perfect, it just needs to be a general cover. And this is going to help it all stick together, because there's a lot of components all that don't really like sticking to each other involved here, and yeah, sometimes it can be a bit of a pain to get it all to sit together nicely, so this is an easy way to fix that. There we go. Let me just clean that off quickly. Okay, and then you can roll it up any way you want. In this case I'm going to be rolling it with the metal leaf in, because I don't want any of that liquid clay on the outside, because it just kind of gets sticky and uncomfortable to work with. So you'll start by creating just a fold, and don't be surprised if it kind of slips and slides around a bit. That's normal. You just want to continue creating that fold and pressing down quite firmly to get the clay and the paint to all stick to itself. Okay, and then once you've got that going, you should be able to start rolling, but you see there it didn't stick, so you might want to just roll it up the whole way like this. And that way you make sure everything sticks together. Okay, then once you've got it all kind of rolled together like so, then you're going to want to spend a bit of time just really sticking this all together. And there is going to be distortion, but that's perfectly fine. You just want to get all really squished together by giving it plenty of reason to stick together like so. And it should stick together. That liquid clay will do its job. Okay, and that should just about do. I'm going to pop that to the side and just clean this up. Okay, and there we go. Then you're pretty much good to start slicing it. And it might be a little squishy once you've finished with it. If you want it to be a little harder, you can pop it in the freezer. But in this project, you shouldn't really need to worry about it. You can see how that looks. It doesn't really matter if it distorts a little bit, because that's kind of just part of the project. And just slice them all up into roughly equal slices. And every once in a while give your blade a quick clean, just because it's going to pick up things like paint or leaf on it, and it will leave drag marks if you don't give it just a little clean in between every couple of slices. And there we go, that's the whole thing sliced. Then I'm going to grab just a piece of plain printing paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to press them just roughly together. I'm actually going to try to encourage distortion in this piece, so I'm going to pop them together in quite the random fashion. I'm not going to worry about sticking them together perfectly just yet, that will come in a bit. Just kind of lay them down in a general fashion that will allow you to stick them together. Okay, and that will do. Then just take this and give it a burnish, and this will kind of start sticking things together. And then once you've got it all stuck together, then I will use the roller to start distorting it. I don't want to do that until they're all at least somewhat stuck together, otherwise I'm going to get things moving all over the place and just creating a bit of a mess. So just give it a good burnish to start out with. You can even use your roller to do that. Just give it a burnish. Okay, and that's how it should look. Then I'm just going to get that off the piece of paper, like so, and I'm going to use my roller. You can use your pasta machine, but I prefer to use the roller because it just gives me a little more control. And I'm going to stretch this out quite a bit. I'm encouraging distortion here, and once I've done one side for a bit, I'll then pick it up. Whoops, there went the tile. I will pick it up and stretch on the other side as well. You can even use your fingers to gently persuade it as well. I don't like to do that as much because you can end up ripping like there. But just continue stretching that out. And if something like that happens, just overlay them back over themselves so that they stick a little more, like so, and then continue rolling. Okay, and there we go, that's how it looks. And it looks even better when you hold it up to the light. Now I'm going to bring over another tile, one that can fit in the oven, and I'm not going to try and cut this out on a piece of paper. I'm instead going to cut it out on the tile, and I will instead sand the back later. So I'm accepting that we're going to have shiny spots on the back, but I think it's just going to be easier to cut it out on the tile. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to give it one final pass with the roller to get it nice and smooth on the front, and also nice and thin as well. I'd say roughly 0.5 millimeter thick is what I'm going for here. Also bear in mind that even though things might be kind of pulling apart a bit at the moment, the liquid clay will help remedy that, but only once it's been baked. At the moment that is kind of sticky, and if anything will make it feel like it's falling apart more. So just keep that in mind if you did use the liquid clay. There we go, that should be nice and smooth. Okay, and now that that's done, I'm going to cut out my pieces. And I'm going to use these cute little heart earrings, and I'm just going to find spots that I like. And I prefer to cut out the best pieces from veneers like this, and then use the leftovers rather than trying to squeeze out every single tiny little bit of clay. I find that you end up with things that don't look as good as they could. So I prefer to get out the best pieces, and then what's left I will then turn into something completely new. And if you're interested in seeing how I use up various leftovers from my projects, there will be a link in the description below to a playlist with all of those tutorials, because I have quite a few. And I'm just trying to actually grab the spiral so that we've got that sitting in the center of each of these, because I think that will look nice. Okay, and I've cut out enough for a necklace and then also enough for a pair of earrings. And then I'm just going to pull this up, and the rest I'll use as leftovers. Now, if you enjoyed this video so far, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing, as I do videos like this every single week, and I'm sure you won't want to miss a single one. And if you have suggestions for future videos, also leave those in the comments below. I check and read every single one of those, so I will see every single one that you leave. And if you'd like to support the channel so I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider checking out my Etsy store. I do supply a lot of the tools that I use, such as the cutters. There is a link to that in the description below. But as for the project, that should just about work. These leftovers, keep them exactly as they are. You could actually just bundle that up together like so, pop that back into a cane, and actually create slices from it, and I will show that in just a moment. Let me just put this to the side. That is going to go into the oven for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. Allow them to cool, and the translucent should clear right on up, and just the depth of the piece should greatly improve. But as for the leftovers, what I will most likely do is I'll take that and just bundle it all up together like I have, and then press it together into a cane. And because there's no specific spiral shapes in this one anymore, I will be able to squeeze out as many earrings and just general pieces as possible. And what you do is, once you've got that, then you would take that and you'd take slices from that and stretch that out. And I'll actually just make that veneer right now so that I can show you how it looks. There we go. Then, just like the other one, you'll then take that and roll that out, stretching out the pattern to reveal a little more of that matrix that you've got going on. And there we go. I rolled that through the pasta machine actually to get that really stretched out. And it looks quite nice. And because it has, again, no specific pattern, you can then squeeze out as much as you want. Whenever I make something with a specific pattern, I much more prefer to get the best image as possible, and then with the scraps I will then inch out everything. But yeah, I'm going to pop that to the side. Not necessarily going to make earrings right now. I probably want to combine it with something. But let's let those other pieces bake, and then we can see how they turned out. Okay, and here they are out of the oven. And this is what the back looks like. It actually didn't turn out too bad in terms of the shiny spot. It's actually quite consistent. So we don't need to worry about sanding that. Now, I am going to varnish these, and I'm going to be using Varathane Gloss Varnish. You can use resin, you can leave them unvarnished essentially, because most of this is contained within the clay, so it shouldn't need to be varnished if you don't want to. You could also sand and buff them, but I'm going to go with a gloss varnish today. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some of that, and I'm going to apply a coat to the front, allow that to dry, and then apply a coat to the back. And that should be just about it, and then you can drill holes and assemble it. And just make sure that you get a good coat of varnish on there. I'm only going to be doing one coat, but you can do multiple if you feel the need. Okay, and once that varnish has dried, you should have a nice shiny finish on both the front and the back. So I don't know if that's gonna show, but I'll have to show it in the photos later, how the light shines through it. But now essentially you're just going to grab a pin drill and just drill some holes. And you can see off to the side here I have done the earrings as well. And that's essentially the same process, just popping the jump rings into a different, or just drilling the holes in a different spot than with the necklace. But you'd essentially go through the same process, drill the holes, attach with jump rings and assemble like so. And this one I'm going to have it so that they all link together, and this is the last one I need to do. I've drilled the holes in all of the others already. Okay, and once you've done that, just make sure you clean up those drill holes. Then I've got some jump rings. All I'm going to do is I'm going to link these pieces together, and I'm using copper because that was the metal leaf colour that I used. You can use any colour you want, but I think matching up the metal leaf with the metal that you plan to use gives some nice continuity throughout the piece. But you'll just link them together like so. Very easy. And this is why I made the pieces fairly thin. I'd say they're about 1 millimeter thick, so that I can have smallish jump rings. So I'd say the pieces are about 1 millimeter thick, and the jump rings that I'm using, let me just quickly measure that and see how wide they are. Okay, so these jump rings are 6 millimeters in diameter from the outside edges, not the inside, and this one over here is 4 millimeters. And I'm using this small one because I don't have to link another piece over here, and I'm going to link that directly to the rest of the necklace, which is going to be a nice thin piece of copper chain. I just need to take that and grab the link, and this is just 1/2 of the necklace. I've got an equal length of chain for the other side. There we go. And I use the smaller jump ring because, as I said, you don't need as much space. Okay, and I've already assembled the other side, and I just need to pop a jump ring and link the two, and then that will be it. And you can see that the necklace has quite a bit of movement to it. It will be quite light as well, and just is quite a nice little piece with matching earrings. There we go, nice and easy. And there, this now has a lot of movement to it, and because of where I drilled the holes, it should naturally kind of curve. So when I hang it, it's going to have a nice rounded curve to it. And also, if it flips at any point, this is completely double-sided, so you can wear it whichever side you want, which is quite nice. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me know if you enjoyed this in the comments below, and if you have suggestions for future tutorials that you would like to see, again, let me know. I always take suggestions and often end up doing tutorials on them, so let me know what you would like to see. And if you would like to support the channel so I can continue doing videos just like this one in the future, please do consider becoming a member. There is a link just below the video, and I post exclusive videos on there every single month. A little longer, a little more complicated than the ones that I do on YouTube, so please do consider checking that out. And again, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please drop a like and subscribe. As I said before, I do videos like this every single week, and I'm sure you won't want to miss a single one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.